Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just did something that could have a big impact on the U.S. banking system, but no one is talking about it right now. For the first time ever, the U.S. government officially backs digital assets and safe coins, and they want banks to play a big role in this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just said, "We will use stablecoins to keep the U.S. dollar the world's most valuable currency." Now things get really interesting. They can do this in two ways. One is a system where the government controls everything, and the other is a system where banks competed to make their own money more than 200 years ago. Some people say this is a tricky system, while others say it was one of the best. There have been new times in the history of money. If free banking comes back, what does that mean for you? This movie, on the other hand, will explain exactly what's going on, why the government is pushing this now, and how it will give you one of the best chances to get rich this decade. But here's the deal for all of you great people. We now know that Trump, and I've already said this, he wants to rebuild the U.S. banking system from the ground up. He is changing how taxes work by talking about lowering income taxes and raising tariffs. He wants to replace fiat money with steady coins and give banks more freedom to run their own businesses. Today, I'd like to talk about how all of this relates to XRP, the only cryptocurrency that can be used to buy things. RLUSD, company backed by Trump, is working on RLUSD as a stablecoin. This will be good for the US financial system and other financial systems around the world. It will also make your fiat currency more flexible so you can make transactions faster. Soon, banks will start releasing RLUSD and other stablecoins, so if you own any of them, you can use them. XRP, you should be very happy about this because it means that deals worth trillions of dollars will be possible on the XRP ledger. This will, of course, make more people use XRP, which will raise its value. Let's talk more about how this whole banking system will change over time, and then I'll talk about how it will affect XRP. Click like to let everyone know about it. Things are about to get very heated. Let's break this down. Why does the US government want stable coins all of a sudden? And even more importantly, why is Trump in charge of all this? But when the White House Digital Assets Summit met last week, it all became very clear, and Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made the big announcement. We will use stable coins to keep as the world's main reserve currency, the US dollar, put an end to, quote, "That's pretty big, let me think about it for a moment." Cryptocurrencies have been ignored or fought by the US government for years. Now that they're caught, they're happy about stable coins, which is sometimes because they have no other choice. You have no choice but to show that the US dollar is in more danger than ever because inflation is getting out of hand. Trade around the world is moving away from the dollar, and people outside of China are being forced to use its currency. The BRICS countries are trying to make their own currencies, and China is trying to make the ECNY its own safe coin. What they plan to do to avoid paying a fine in the US. People all over the world still want dollars, even if some countries want to stop using the US dollar and use their own money instead. They need money, so Trump and Bessent want to get dollars into the hands of everyone around the world. They see stable coins as a way to do this, to weaponize digital currency. In this age of cryptocurrencies, Trump wants to keep the dollar as the world's main currency. Here's the crazy part. Almost all stable coins are already backed by the dollar, but right now they're all made by private companies like Tether and Circle instead of US banks. This is bad for the US banking group, so Trump wants to change. The US government wants American banks to start making their own stablecoin instead of relying on random companies in other countries. These coins will be fully backed, regulated, and built into the banking system. Things get even stranger from here. This idea isn't just a pipe dream. Trump has already started to make big plans behind the scenes to make it happen. Steps that will make this happen. There are new laws being made to deal with this, and the US government is already changing its mind about crypto. The big banks are also getting ready for what's to come, as this regime change is happening faster than anyone thought it would. Our private trading group has been looking forward to this for a while now. We've been trading during many of the ups and downs that come with a new financial system that is still being built. As you know, we've been making a lot of money along the way. You can see right here that I list all of my trades, all of my exits, and all my gains. Some deals ended with gains of 50%, 100%, and 24%. 24%, I closed 2 deals that made me 61% more money. There are more moves coming with 18% and 18% respectively. We want to make sure you can get all of these so you can make money during the crazy times the markets will be going through in 2025 and 2026. We work with 2 platforms, BTCC and Bytex. If that sounds good to you, sign up for one of them and then follow here's a 3-step plan for crypto crusaders. Let's watch the video again to get a better idea of what the Trump administration is doing to make stable coins like Ripple more useful on the world market. President Trump has told us to use stable coins to keep the US dollar as the world's main reserve currency, which should tell you everything you need to know. It's clear that the US government backs digital assets like US dollar stable coins. This isn't to fight cryptocurrency, but to protect the dollar. Just a few days after the meeting, Trump signed an order that created what he calls a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a US digital asset stockpile. This may sound exciting, but the real action is hidden in the small print of the order. In this order, Treasury Secretary Bizant makes it clear that banks and the government are being told to change their tax and banking rules to support stablecoins. To start, the Treasury will change and send again all earlier guidance that makes it harder for digital asset markets to work. Next, the Office of the Controller of the Currency will set up a way for national banks to accept stablecoins. 2 very important things. First, it shows that Trump isn't just talking. His team is probably changing the rules right now. And second, it pretty much proves that banks will soon be able to make their own stablecoins. In the meantime, Congress is already working on the laws that will make this happen. At the start of 2025, lawmakers there are 2 big bills that were introduced, the Genius Act and the Stable Act. Both of these bills aim to set up a government system for stable coins. The House passed the Stable Act, which says that companies that make stable coins must keep a 1-to-1 reserve in U.S. treasuries or cash accounts. The Senate also passed the Genius Act. The best part is that national banks and other financial institutions will be able to issue and pay stable coins while being supervised by the OC. Trump isn't going to wait for these things to happen. He wants a stablecoin bill from Congress to be on his desk by August. Trump himself said we want digital dollars to be made by American banks, not by foreign companies or radical government officials. This is real. Congress needs to take care of this. To make this plan work, the government needs to stop fighting crypto and start working with it. And guess what? They just told national banks to start making their own stable coins to get more people to use crypto through the Office of the Controller of the Currency, OCC. As of not long ago, it was said that the IRS would start rolling back strict tax rules. Bass even said that the Treasury would send out all the old advice that hurt the digital asset markets again and change it